Welcome today to our webinar. Appreciate everybody taking the time to join us. The title of the webinar is Optimizing Your EMR and Focus on Healthcare Through Managed Services. And to review the agenda, we'll quickly go through introductions from the folks that are here from Clinical Path Consulting, a little bit about the organization, the challenges of technology support, known challenges of technology support, the managed services process. We will outline that, recognize benefits of managed services, a couple of case studies, and then questions and answers. And feel free to utilize the chat feature. If you have a question during the presentation, feel free to use that chat feature, or just speak up, and we'd be glad to answer that question. We'd like it to be a very interactive session. So we'll go into introductions. First off with Candace.
Yeah, good morning to those of you on the Midwest and West Coast. Here on the East Coast, good afternoon. My name is Candace Carden, and I'm the National Director of Business Development.
And I'm John Drozdick, Director of Client Services for Clinical Path.
And I am Julie Zarowski. I am the Vice President over the Managed Services team for Clinical Path Consulting.
So a little bit about the organization. We are a consulting firm providing technology and management solutions specifically for the healthcare clients, our healthcare clients nationwide. We have 200 consultants total across the organization. At any given time, we have 25 or better active healthcare projects underway. Very experienced group of consultants, averaging 15 years of experience. That could be in EMR, optimization, configuration, project management, really up and down the technology and the functional disciplines. So we've been in business for 20 years, 20 years plus, and have been recognized 8 years in a row as one of the top workplaces here in Milwaukee, as well as our other office in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. So those are our two offices. We actually have a satellite office in Kansas City as well, but our focus, our breadth is nationwide. So we have clients that are on the East Coast, the West Coast, and in the Midwest.
Thanks, John. And this is Candace. I'll start talking about some of the known challenges when supporting your technology. What we have found is more than 29% of every workday is spent reacting to unplanned incidents or emergencies. And of those incidents, over 50% of them are related to operational issues, outages, or performance. And what we've also found is once you've identified the problem, it takes 5 times longer to resolve the issue. So what is managed services? Managed services is a strategic approach to help you maintain and support your system so that you can focus on your business initiatives. And this can be everything from full managed services, 24/7, 365-degree support, can be related to system security, vendor management, project initiatives and or mergers acquisition, project and change management, and in addition, it can be flexible, both on-site and remote. So why consider managed services? Again, it goes beyond just full outsourced managed services support. It can be anything from you're currently on a legacy EMR system and you need help with someone to help you support your legacy system and provide that day-to-day support so your team can focus on the new technology. Can be an internal upgrade, similar situation where you need your team to focus on the upgrade and not focusing on production support. Can be a situation where, say, you've implemented a new system like Epic or Cerner, and your team is now supporting a system that they're not as familiar with. So it can be that external support extension of your team to help with that. And then it can also just be day-to-day support and enhancements. That list of enhancements, you do the initial go-live, and you have all of these to-dos that get pushed off, and that list gets longer and longer. So using a managed services arm as a support of your team can help you catch up with that list and really keep up with the day-to-day support. And again, some of our teams are just lean. They're small, and sometimes it can just be that ebb and flow of the business to be able to help offset PTO, long-term vacations, or unexpected absences. So some of the advantages to the managed services model, the number one advantage that we find is it really does help the focus to managing the business and not managing the technology. It can also reduce your overall operating costs by increasing operational efficiencies. So instead of having 4 resources supporting 4 different applications with a managed services model, you may be able to use incremental pieces of each of those resources and go down from needing 4 people from support to, say, 2 people. Overall, you can get enhanced system performance because you now have your preventative maintenance. Plus, again, that to-do list is getting shorter and shorter because you're getting that support on the day-to-day activities. And then overall, it just provides confidence that your system is continuously supported and that you have that extension of the team to help with the ebb and flow of the day-to-day needs. At NRC, we actually do provide multiple managed services options. Again, full managed outsourced services, so we can do full 24/7, 365-degree support, or we can provide full support just during business hours. We can do what we call staff augmentation support. So maybe you just need help, again, with 1 to 2 team members, balancing a number of needs across a couple team members to help balance out your team. We have our annual incremental support, which is where you can purchase a bucket of hours that can be used across any functional or technical support area. Those start as low as 15 hours per week, and they can go up from there all the way up to multiple FTEs. And then we have emergent support. This is more of an insurance policy. It's just a few hours, but it gives you the ability to call on NRC or CPC to help you in those, if you have an emergency, something internally that your staff can't handle. And then lastly, we have our on-demand support, where you're able to give CPC a call if it's just one-off request, you have someone out on leave, or maybe you have an acquisition that's overloading your team and you just need some help to get through that time. And then from here, I'm going to turn it over to Julie, who's going to talk to you a little bit more about the managed services process.
Thanks, Candace. So as Candace stated, we have a variety of different ways that we do support our managed services customers, but the process that we take with any customer ends up really being the same. So we have a mechanism, the help desk system that we utilize to enter in your requests. We do have a standard triaging process that those requests go through. But the very most important step throughout that process is the constant communication. So once you enter a request and we take a look at the request, the very first thing we do is make sure that we make contact with the requester and truly understand their need, not just what they've typed into the system. I encourage my team to do that via phone first, the personal contact, because you're able to better understand what the request is. If they're not able to contact you via phone, I do make sure that they send an email to the requester, again, just for that clarification. Once we receive that clarification, we start to do an assessment of the ticket and begin to create that resolution plan. Once we understand how we're going to resolve the ticket, again, we have a second communication step out to the customer to make sure that they are in agreement of the resolution that we've identified. Once we've completed the ticket or the work that needs to be done, we go through an initial testing phase ourselves first, so we understand the work that we've completed, make sure that it works. And then we will work with the end user so that they go through a testing and a validation phase so that it does meet their expectations and make sure we don't need to complete any more adjustments. Excuse me. After that, we make sure that the change is accepted and we get that into the production environment, and then we close the ticket. And again, my key thing with all of my teams that I work with is that there is constant communication with the customer. That's what's going to make your team successful, and that's what's going to make our team successful. Next slide. In order to make sure that we're working on the correct work, we do tailor to the customer what is going to work with them. Some customers I have that we meet 2 or 3 times a week because there's a high volume of tickets that are coming in. Some are daily because they have even a higher volume. Most of the customers we either meet with weekly or on a bi-weekly basis and review all of the tickets that we have in. and make sure that we're working on the right tickets in the right order for your priority. And we will provide some input on, from a technical perspective, we should work on A before we work on C, but it is a joint prioritization to make sure we're working on the correct things. We communicate those priorities. Oops. Thanks, Candace. We communicate those priorities, again, both from in that meeting as well as a weekly report of what's been completed, what we are still working on, as well as the number of hours that we've utilized. In addition to understanding the priorities, some of our clients do segment some of their hours for us to work on some projects for them within the managed services, as well as they have their own projects that are going on. And while we do a lot of support for the break-fix tickets, having an understanding of what else is going on in the organization, again, make sure that we're doing the right thing and that we're not stepping over other work that is being completed out there. I think as Candace stated, one of the benefits of having managed services is we can help take care of some of the day-to-day work so your team members can help with the more strategic or the more project work, but we still need to have an understanding of what that is to make sure we're all working together. Next slide. So while we are doing that work, and again, depending on the number of hours requested, depends on what we establish for service level agreements, but here's an example of service level agreements that we have out there. We do support severity 1s through severity 4s. A severity 1 is there's a major system down and we have to engage to make sure your system can get back up and operate appropriately. Severity 2 are those high issues. There are some production issues that are impacting a large number of users, and the sooner that we're up, the better. Severity 3s and 4s are more of the standard, more enhancement type requests, or it would be nice to have these items here. For the work that we do as we're on the service level agreements, most of our managed service customers are what I call level 2 support. So at this point in time, we do not do a lot of the help desk support, I need my password reset, but more that application functionality. Something's not working properly in the application and it needs more than just a quick fix or just a quick training. So generally we do the level 2, but within that level 2 we make sure that we're having the correct service level to make sure that you're getting the right work completed in the right amount of time. Again, while we have a guidance here, as we work with each client, we identify truly what that service level need is. My customers that have fewer hours, again, a lot of that is just communication. My customers that we support in multiple modules of, let's say, an Epic system or a Cerner system, the more modules we support, the stronger that we make sure those service levels are so we're able to respond in an appropriate amount of time for the needs of your organization. Next slide. And I'll turn it over to John, who will share some of our success stories.
Thank you, Julie. Wanted to highlight a couple of our managed services clients. The first one is Hospital Sisters Health System, better known as HSHS. They're headquartered in Springfield, Illinois, and have been they're in year 3 of a 5-year implementation plan of Epic across 15 hospitals, and are finding themselves very resource poor as they transition from Meditech to Epic. They are finding they want to be able to train their existing analysts and folks in Epic, and we are taking a support role within the managed services offering where we are their support team for about 4 different modules, including HIM, some orders, Willow, as well as some reporting. We have been very successful in that role. They're a client that has looked at us as a valued partner and as a strategic partner for many years. So we've been able to free up their internal staff to become experts in Epic while we take the day-to-day maintenance and support type tickets. Any questions regarding that? If not, we'll move on to the next one. Here's another client, Wake Forest Baptist, a large academic medical center in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. As they transitioned away from Cerner to Epic a few years ago, they found that their reporting requests were going unmet, leading to a large amount of frustration with the system and also IT in general to be able to support those requests. They were understaffed and inexperienced with the Epic reporting tools, and their backlog continued to just get larger and larger. So we were brought in there with a team of 4 analysts as well as a business analyst to manage the request process and execute the delivery of the needed reports. So we created and implemented a system for triaging those reports from a critical nature, but also how complicated they were and how quickly we could turn those around. And then if you in the reporting world, some can be done in a couple of days, some could take a couple of months. So we truly outsourced that process, and we're able to significantly decrease the number of backlog reports. They were somewhere in the 2 to 250 range, and we were able to get that down with our team and working alongside their team as well, or their existing folks. We were able to get that down to about 25 in about 18 months. So and really left them in a much better situation, being able to handle their reporting requests. And I believe that wraps up. Oh, I'm sorry, there's one more slide.
Yeah, thanks, John. So I will share with you that I have heard from a former customer before that implementing an Epic system or a Cerner system is like purchasing a BMW and then trying to keep up with the maintenance on it. And I think that's one of the things that we've found through our managed services group, that we can really help with that. From reduced overall operating costs, we've seen a 33% decrease in that, improving the quality, efficiency, and productivity. We've seen a decreased issue backlog, such as John just referred to, over a 95% decrease in service tickets, optimization of resources, over 100% increase in the scalability of resources, and a 55% increase in overall productivity. But most importantly, we've seen improved customer satisfaction, over 60% increase in the response rate, and the enhanced availability and quicker issue resolution leads to overall improved end-user customer satisfaction, and that's really the goal. So from here, that does conclude our presentation, and I wanted to see if anyone has any questions that we could potentially answer for you. It looks like we don't have any questions. So from there, I'll turn it back over to you, John, to close us out.
Great, thank you. And if somebody thinks of a question later on, you can simply email us at info@cpcit, or give me a call at my direct number that's listed, or visit our website for further information. We'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to work with you. Thanks again, everybody.
Thank you.